We've been promoting this show for the last few weeks. We've been telling you that we're going to have somebody on that would take you back to the 50s. Andy Zachar. A long time ago, he was named as Andy Starr. Is that right?
That's correct.
Can you slide in here? Andy has the biggest notebook of his scrapbook is incredible. Andy, how you doing?
I'm just doing fine, Rod, and it's a real pleasure to be able to, join in on this Oldies show. And I thought there'd be some things you would really be interested in looking at. I don't know how much time you have, but this would take about 4 or 5 hours.
Well, when I remember seeing the scrapbook,
Heavens, yes,
was in Bethlehem. I was owner of a
rock and roll heaven.
Yes, an Oldies store, and you used to come in from time to time. I remember looking this over. That's how I first met you. Andy goes back, and he's got some stories to tell, I'm sure, about the music scene in the Lehigh Valley in the late 50s and on into the early 60s. He had some charted records right here. In fact, right now, in front of us is a WAEB record survey from October 12, 1959. Top tunes in the Lehigh Valley. And look at that, you got them all. Now, I see you had 2 records out at the same time. One under your name, Andy Starr, and one under the group's name, the Casinos. Any particular reason for that?
Yes, they had told us when I wrote these songs, I wrote all the songs we recorded. Why Am I a Fool and I Love You Baby, they felt were too good to put on one record. We didn't want to make the same kind of mistake that Elvis did with Hound Dog and Don't Be Cruel. So they said, write 2 more songs, and what we'll do, we'll release the one as a group's name and one by your name. And they both were released at the same time, a matter of fact. As you can see on the charts, we were number 25 with Why Am I a Fool by the Casinos, and number 30 with I Love You Baby by Andy Starr.
And this is right here at 79, AEB. And you were on the Casino label also with the Casinos.
We were on various labels. Casino was the first one. There's also a Valiant and an Arcade. They were all subsidiaries of Casino Records, as far as I was told.
Casino was based in Philadelphia.
That's correct. And also Lee Andrews and the Hearts recorded
Casino before they were purchased.
Right.
If you'd like, Andy, let's start with an Andy Starr song. All right, this is charted number 30 for October 26th of 1959.
And when you put your arms around me, baby, you can make me feel so numb. Oh, I love you, honey, I do. Oh, let's go. And when you put your arms around me, baby, you can make me feel so numb.
That's on the Arcade label from 1959. I Love You Baby. And it says Andy Starr, but we know it's Andy Starr and the Casinos. Who were the Casinos?
The Casinos, Rod, were Joe DeFuvio on drums, Sammy Gentile on saxophone, and Jimmy Tullio on guitar. Of course, Jimmy would switch guitar and bass. Everybody in the group played a few instruments. I would play guitar and piano, and we'd all switch around like this, which added a lot of variety and of course, a lot of songs that maybe I couldn't figure out on a guitar, I could do on a piano and vice versa, but we all changed around.
We're having a good time while the music's playing, looking at Andy's scrapbook. It's incredible.
Oh, my goodness.
Who is that?
This is my wife,
That's
Patricia, who is sitting here with us this evening.
During the playing of the record, his wife told me why it was number 30 in the chart, because she used to request it every 5 minutes. Is that true?
Yes.
Yeah, but it sold some copies, too.
Yes, it did sell some copies in the Valley. It was hard to get plays. I actually took the record to Philadelphia, to New York. I dropped it off at radio stations, and at that time, such a thing called payola was popular, and it was tough to just drop a record off and expect the disc jockey to play it for you. But I tried, and I don't know how many plays I really got around, but we had a few.
Can you reminisce with us for a moment and tell us some of the areas the casinos played, some of the night spots?
Oh, my heavens. We played just about every night spot locally. One of the big
There's
things
the
was
Frolics Ballroom.
Where people like Fats Domino,
Yes.
Little Richard, and I'm sure you yourself, Rod, probably were up there. We did a lot of playing at the Italian Club, the Green Pines. Young Demos was a popular spot to be at that time. Well, here's a...
I wish
just turned to a page,
the audience could
540
see
Club.
these. These are
Charlie's Cafe, the Newburgh Inn, the
these are
Lighthouse,
newspaper clippings.
E&W Club.
They're in amazing condition yet. They really are.
But that gives you an idea.
500 teenagers rock at Stefco Shopping Center. I love it. Great pictures.
Yeah.
And the old WAEB survey, there's a lot of people looking for those. People collect those.
Let me
by
show
the
you
way.
this one thing. I'm not to...
And some pictures of Andy, and you look almost the same. You haven't changed.
Here are pictures of
Oh, the jocks. Okay.
all the disc jockeys
There
back
we
in
go.
'59. The
You ready?
times and the pictures.
Okay, here's Kerm Gregory, who's back in the Lehigh Valley. 6 to 9 a.m. was Clock Watcher with Kerm Gregory. Ernie Stegler did Toast and Coffee Time. Ned Fleming, one of the original Lehigh Valley rock jocks. Remember Ned from 11 to 2? Hits for the Misses was Joe McLean, only from 2 to 3, though. Gene Kay was on, I see. Kerm Gregory came back and did 3 to 5. Then Gene Kay did 1 hour, 5 to 6 during the time of this survey, 1960. And Jumpin' Jay was in the news department then. And then Gene and Joe McLean came back and did Paging the Stars. And Bud Nurr on the All Night Show. That's great. History of 79 WAEB. Should we play the Casinos record?
That wouldn't be a bad idea.
This was the one that was on the charts at the very same time as I Love You Baby. Only on the Casino label and under the group name, The Casino.
Say no, oh baby, I want your warm embrace and kiss your tender face. You know how much you mean to me, oh baby. Why am I a fool? You said someday be my bride. Oh well, you said someday you'd have me die. Am I a fool to love you so? Did I do wrong by saying no? Oh baby, why am I a fool? Why am I a fool? Oh, why am I a fool?
It's called Why Am I a Fool by the Casinos with, of course, Andy Starr. And Andy has some interesting correspondence. First from England.
Sussex, England.
Sussex, England, 1972. What were they looking for?
At this particular time, Rod, this was a letter that stated, "We note you hold publishing rights to the following recording, I Love You Baby, by Andy Starr, an Arcade label. Do you have stock of this record? If so, in what quantity? And would you sell it to us at what price per unit?" Apparently, they were looking for old records. I don't know if they would mass reproduce them again or not. But what we did, we sent some records to Sussex, England. They in turn wrote back and said that the records we sent were a little bit scratchy. Could I re-record them? That and the group was scattered all over the map. I didn't know where half the guys were. But nothing really developed with this. Then again,
now here's a letter. This is 10 years later, 1982.
Yeah. This came from West Germany. Seems like we made a big hit over in Germany. I don't know. But these guys came to my home in August last year looking to have me sign a contract. I guess they want to re-release all the stuff I was doing because it had a rockabilly sound, and they said this is the type of thing that would go over so big. Sorry to say, after they left my home that evening, they had a terrible car wreck in Wilmington, which held them up for about 3 months. And to this day, I'm still waiting. They do say they're going to send a contract, but I'm just going to keep waiting and see what I hear.
The current rockabilly rave started in Europe again.
Yeah,
the interest in rockabilly music came from England and Europe, and again, they seem to lead the way as we kind of follow. I don't know if it has subsided or not, but
yeah, it is very interesting.
And,
I can't get over this.
Well, we wish you the best, and we hope that you can connect with these guys. We're going to play another song here by the Casinos, right? Or Andy Starr?
This one was listed as an Andy Starr record. Now, there's a little something funny about this. We recorded Just a Walking in Cruel World. Cruel World was to be the B-side, the side that wouldn't get airplay. It was brought right here to this studio, and there were some young ladies here that they played both sides of the record for, and they kind of took a little vote on it, and these girls decided Cruel World was the side to go with, which I did not really want that side to be played as the A side. I had asked you a favor tonight to finally let the Lehigh Valley hear what the A side would have sounded like back in 1960.
What's the name of this
one? Just a Walkin'.
Just a Walkin'. Here's Andy Starr. There it is. It's called Just a Walkin', and that's the one Andy asked me to play.
Thank you.
First time ever, right?
That's right.
And we're going to play the end of the side that WAEB played, Cruel World, for one reason. A little trivia here, folks.
And that reason is when I cut that record, they had put me in a little sound booth. This was at Tony Starr Studios in Philadelphia. And at that time, Lee Andrews was in the studio. And the type of song Cruel World is similar to his type of music that Lee liked. And what he did, as I got very near the end of the song, he came in and just kind of moved me aside, and he stepped in front of the mic and he finished out the song. And he knew it was a B-side, and he said after it was all over, I hope you didn't mind that. He says, I really enjoy the sound. I love the song, the record. He says, I had to be part of that. And it was a thrill for me to have a guy with million-seller records jump in on a song, which I thought would be the B-side, and it ended up being the A-side, the side they played.
Cruel World.
This was always my dad's favorite song in the house.
Well, let's hear a little bit of that. Let's listen for Lee Andrews at the end of Cruel World.
Now that God has chosen you, I pray to heaven that I may join you. Cruel, cruel world.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Yes, Lee Andrews, Without the Hearts, and Cruel World. I like that. 26 minutes after 10 o'clock, we'll continue with Andy Starr, Andy Zachar, and he's going to lead us into our final guest tonight in just a moment. Stay with us on the Hall of Fame show.
WAEB Allentown.
We've got one more record to play. Who is appearing on this record? First of all, it does not say Andy Starr, does not say the Casinos anywhere on the record. Who were the Sinceres?
Well, the Sinceres, if I can think of all the people, consisted of lead singer Billy Floyd.
From Allentown?
As far as I know, Billy was from Allentown. Bethlehem he was from. Then they had Emmett Lord, Jay Proctor.
Who? Jay Proctor's on this
At
record?
that time, Jay was just kind of a backup man. Imagine that. But
And this is from what, 1960?
yes, this really goes back. Actually, it was 60. It was the same time I cut the Cruel World and the Just a Walking song. We went down with the Sinceres and we cut their song.
Background
We
vocals?
played all the music.
Oh,
we
all
just
right.
played the music for the Sinceres.
Billy
Singing.
Floyd is the lead singer.
He is the lead singer, and I don't know all the guys that were in that group.
Jay Proctor
Jay
does background vocals. This is from 1960, and it's on the Jordan label. That have anything to do with
The Jordan Paint Factory.
Jordan Paint Factory? That was owned by...
Dave Reef.
Okay.
I believe he still owns it and runs that store. And
Yes, he
that's how
does.
he named that label, Jordan.
Let's listen to the record. Here's the Sinceres.
You're too young to fall in love. You're too young to fall in love. Birds up in the treetop whisper to me, foolish little boy. Oh, can you see that you're too young to fall in love? To fall in love. Like a weeping willow, you've been weeping for a man, but that little girl won't give you a chance, 'cause you're too young to fall in love. Your heart is too young and tender to be broken so many times. But just wait, my dear, and he will surrender and say, please be mine. Now you know just what to do, so be sure when you say I love you, 'cause you're too young to fall in
the Sinceres with Billy Floyd, Andy Starr and the Casinos. Andy, you guys were versatile to go from rockabilly to that. That's the classic doo-wop.
I loved it.
Yeah, that would fit right into Lover's Gold if we were in the middle of it. And background vocals, Jay Proctor. Thank you, Andy. I appreciate your coming out to see us.
And I appreciate the chance you gave us to get up here, and it's been an enjoyable evening.
Well, I hope
Thank
you
you
had
so
fun,
very,
and
very much.
I know everybody that was here had a good time looking at your scrapbook. They were all talking about it.
I'm sure they were. But do come down and hear us play. Catch us at Josie Ann's or Mountain Villain some night.
I'll take you up on that.
Okay, man.
Thanks, Andy.
You bet.
And this is called a natural segue. Sitting in the hot seat right now is the gentleman that was rumored to be singing background vocals on the Sinceres record, Jay Proctor. Jay, how you doing?
How you doing, Rod?
Good to see you again.
Good to see you. Yeah.
I understand. Yeah, it's been a few years.
Yeah.
Sorry we're running late. Everybody's been gracious enough to just sit around and wait for their time. But you know we had to close the show with Jay and the Techniques.
Thank you.
There would be no way that you could do it any other way. The biggest group to ever come out of the Lehigh Valley. Were you on that record? Do you remember?
Oh, very well.
Sincere? Yeah. Oh, it
You're
was
too young
incredible.
to fall in love.
That was it? And you-
Yeah. 14 years old. Then.
Yeah. You just knocked us out because you're sitting there, you are singing along to the lyrics. And I'm thinking, man, when was the last time you could have heard that?
I don't even have that record, as a matter of fact, and I haven't heard it in many, many years.
Oh, man.
And it was our first recording. I guess I'll never forget that one.
I asked Andy, he did not know. Do you know where Billy Floyd is?
Billy Floyd works for OIC. He travels pretty much around the country doing things for them. I seen him this past winter. We had an Oldies but Goodies dance in Bethlehem, and he was there. In fact, he had this record there, but we didn't get a chance to play it that night. So
Has he ever done anything else?
he had gone to Philly one time to do some writing, and he was a pretty good writer. He wrote that tune, by the way. That's what he really wanted to do. He wanted to be a singer, but in Philly at that time, it was pretty rough. So I guess he didn't make it, you know.
Well, now we're going to try and work our way from 1960 when Jay Proctor was doing background vocals.
Yeah.
How do we get ourselves up to, let's say, 1966, 67, when all of a sudden a group explodes out of the Lehigh Valley to national prominence?
You're listening to Rod Wolfe on the Lehigh Valley's original Sunday Night Hall of Fame.
WAEB.
The greatest hits of all time from the station that made them famous. WAEB.